Here on Madison HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association, we're here with women's head soccer coach Dave Lombardo. Coach, season's well underway. We just finished the JMU Invitational this past weekend. Your thoughts on how that weekend went?
Well, we're absolutely, first of all, very thankful to Fairfield Inn for being able to do that. What that tournament allows us to do each year is to get teams into Harrisonburg that wouldn't normally come to Harrisonburg on our regular schedule. So we're always trying to get some good teams from out of region, a little cross-representation of different conferences, some Big East, some A10. Occasionally we'll get somebody from the Big Ten or something along that line. So that's really been a blessing for us. Traditionally over the years, there's always been at least one or two teams that come out of that tournament that end up in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. I'm hoping we're going to be one of those one or two teams. 2 wins, great start for us. You always want to, particularly at home, you want to really kind of put your best foot forward, and I think we did that with the results. Now, the coaching side of me is going to sit here and tell you we didn't play as well as I would have liked us to play, but that's what I told the team the other day. That's very promising at this point. If you can be less than your best and still find ways to win, then that gives you an opportunity to work on those things, and you've got room to really kind of hopefully step those up. And that will get better with time. Some of that is just a little bit of inexperience. We've got some younger defenders in the back that need to get a little more game hardened with that. And we're actually even still experimenting with systems of play. You may have noticed in the UMass game we switched from a 4-3-3 in the first half to a 4-4-2 in the second half because we just kind of felt like we were kind of stuck and we needed to change some of that around. So I'm happy. It was certainly a good launching pad for us, and we learned some things about us, both good and bad, that we need to continue to develop throughout the season.
Double-digit shot total in both games this weekend, 4 different goal scorers. Your thoughts on really the firepower that you could have up front this year and the combinations that you're going to use throughout the year? Yeah,
coming into the season, you don't want to, as a coach, you don't want to get ahead of yourself and pencil in lineups and everything else. But I think my overall feeling coming into the season is that we would be strong up in the attacking half of the field, which would include not only our forwards, but also I think we have a pretty versatile and talented midfield group as well. And I believe of the 4 goals that were scored this weekend, we had a couple that came out of midfielders. Rachel Ivey scored the first one against UMass the other day, but in our preseason scrimmage against Bucknell, 3 of the 4 goals came from midfielders. And that, for me, has been a very pleasant surprise because last year, if our forwards weren't scoring, we weren't scoring. And we scored I think we scored 42 goals last year, which is very respectable. But it gives us an edge from the standpoint that it's harder for other teams to lock down one particular player and then eliminate your offense. Ashley Herndon's a go-to player for us, but we've been able to show that if she isn't scoring, she's going to be able to set up other people. So far, so good in that account.
Yeah, you mentioned Ashley Herndon. She was named CAA Player of the Week this week. She scored on Friday night, and she tallied both assists on both goals on Sunday night.
Yeah, she's very smart. She's very talented. She's and I say this about forwards all the time. You have 3 different opportunities to be effective in the offense. One is to score a full chance. You're in on a breakaway. It's just you and the goalkeeper. The expectation is you're probably, if you're a composed enough forward, you're going to score that goal. She can do that. She also takes half chances. So that's when the ball is served in. She takes a swing at a volley or something along those lines. Some kids are putting those up and over the goal and into the parking lot. She's putting those on frame. So that's another thing that she's been able to prove for us. But more than anything else, I think the mark of a good forward is that ability to create something out of nothing. When you draw a double team and then all of a sudden you split that double team with a dribble and then you're in on goal to either set up somebody or score it yourself, that's a special commodity that not a lot of attacking players have, and she certainly has that dimension to the game. The best attribute that she has, she's probably one of the most humble kids I've ever had that had that level of talent. Oftentimes, those are the kids that are always, crying out to look at me, look at me. She doesn't want that attention. She's actually embarrassed by it. So I think she's been able to balance both of those qualities pretty well.
Looking ahead, Friday night, you've got Wake Forest down in Winston-Salem. Your thoughts on that game and what it means on this to have on the schedule?
Oh, it's a very exciting game for us to have on the schedule. We're each year when you construct your schedule, there are aspects you have no control of, which are your conference games. They're assigned to you, and you take them when they give them to you. The non-conference part of that is you're trying to put a schedule together that will be a balance between able to get enough of results, but challenging enough that if you nick some teams that have a big pedigree or a big resume that's nationally ranked, that it helps you at the end of the season, not necessarily the beginning of the season, other than it helps catapult your confidence, but it helps you at the end of the season when it comes to NCAA selection time, where you give yourself two opportunities to be selected. If you win the conference championship, then that's a no-brainer. You're getting in. It's just a matter of who you're going to play. But if for some reason you miss that, like we did last year, we were right on the cusp of getting an at-large bid, and then we missed out because we didn't have that one significant result against a brand-name team. Wake Forest represents that for us. I think they're a good ACC team, but I think they're a team that can be beaten. They've lost, I think last year they lost 10 seniors, the majority of which were starters or significant players for them. That doesn't mean they're going to have a down year, but I'm hoping they're still going to be young and they're going to have take some time to kind of figure things out. They've had 3 scrimmages and they opened up last night, which was late. And it's unusual for a team to have 3 scrimmages. That's usually an indicator that you're trying to figure things out. So we're going to look at this and go, well, we'll take our maturity and leadership at this point in time. We're feeling pretty good about where our game is going and do the best that we can down there on Friday night.
Well, the Dukes take on Wake Forest this Friday night, August 29th at 7 p.m. Thanks, Coach, for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.